the stand. Now he runs. He produces a magic print. He pulls out another one. This is incredible. This is ridiculous. This is 15 out of 10 on the incredible meter. What a player. What an entertainer. Give him the medal. Give him the Dally M medal.
Hello, footy fans, and welcome back to the Chip and Chase podcast. We are back here on this lovely Thursday afternoon, getting our Thursday and Friday previews done for round 7 of the NRL Telstra Premiership season. As you know, we're going to start to try and do these a little bit quicker. We'll be going through the one Thursday game and the 2 Friday games in this one, and we want to hopefully have that done within 15 minutes, around 5 minutes on each team, on each match, I should say. We're also going to be doing a thing now where I am now just going to sit down. I'm going to record the Thursday, Friday previews. I'll finish that up. I'm going to record the Saturday straight after, and then the Sundays straight after that. So they're all going to be pre-recorded and then published on each day. So right now, as I said, it is Thursday, but that means if, say, the Saturday or the Sunday games, if any late mail comes out, it's too bad. I've already recorded those podcasts. You can make your own changes to bets or tips or whatever based on that. But it's just helping me out a bit more time management wise. So we're just trying to brush all these out of the way. So we'll get started right with our Thursday game. That being the Roosters taking on the Melbourne Storm, 7:50 p.m. at Allianz Stadium, Sydney. So of course this one is a Roosters home game. Roosters sitting in 9th on the ladder right now, 3-3 record, I believe. So not the worst start, not the best start for a team of their stature, but the Storm are currently sitting pretty in 2nd place on the ladder. So this is going to be an absolute ripper to kick off our round 7 of the season. And as I said, we've been having some incredible games to start each round. So hopefully this one lives up to that as well. For the Roosters, in terms of their ins and outs, James Tedesco is back in from his HIA. He goes to fullback. That pushes Joseph Manu back to the centres. Junior Ponga out of the side, and Joseph Sawali back to that wing spot. Connor Watson and Luke Keary have been retained as the halves. Sam Walker still another week away. Could be more. It's all sort of, up in the air about how concussions work. But yeah, he's not in the side for this game. Beyond that, for the Roosters, not too much to say really. Egan Butcher's on their bench now as a replacement for Satili Tupanua, who is also out. Can't recall if it was a HIA or not, but he is out regardless. For the Melbourne Storm, couple changes here. Tepai Maroa is out, so Joe Chan replaces him on the bench. But the big one, of course, is the return of Nelson Asafa Solomona. He's starting at prop, number 8 for Nelson. He replaces Tui Kamikamitha, who is out with, I believe it's a calf injury. He's looking to miss about 3 weeks, I think, from what I've read. So good to see Nas back in the NRL, and for this clash, it's just going to be really exciting seeing the forward packs go up at it. But those are the only changes for the Storm. Pretty full strength side for them. Good to see that they've still got their entire first choice spine intact, which is something that we haven't seen for a long time. In terms of my tips, I have tipped the Melbourne Storm, but I'm very much not confident in that. I think the Roosters can very much get up for this. I think they'll get up for this regardless. They could be coming 16th, the Roosters, and I still back them to get up for this one, especially, home game for them. They're going to want to test themselves against some of the best in the competition. So not confident in my Storm tip, but I'm going to back it in. They're second on the ladder for a reason. As I said, they've got that superstar spine, so I think they can get the job done. But yeah, really exciting game just as a neutral fan to get to watch these sides go at it, especially, as I said, to start out our week. But yeah, the Storm are my tip, the matchup I'm looking forward to most. I mean, it has to be the fullbacks, James Tedesco, Ryan Papenhuyzen, 2 of our superstars, 2 Blues superstars as well. Papenhuyzen, he's sort of, fallen off in the talks for the next Blues fullback, but we forget, before his injuries a couple of years ago, he was right up there. People were calling for him to be the starting number 1. People were calling for him to at least be on the bench. So he could definitely, he's playing some good footy. It's probably another couple years away for him to make it, there are some incredible performers out there for the Blues. We have Tedesco, we have Tom Trbojevic, Latrell Mitchell, who has, of course, been out of form so far this season. But, when he's on, and it's Latrell. Even Dylan Edwards, I think, is a massive smoky for it. Scott Drinkwater, there's another one. Lots of incredible fullbacks out there for the Blues, but Ryan Papenhuyzen, he's still an elite fullback in our game. So those 2 are my matchup of this game. Beyond that, we will move into our multi for this one. So, again, going with the tips that I've provided, the tip of the Melbourne Storm, that leads into our bet. They are my first leg of the multi, so it's just Melbourne Storm head-to-head. Decent odds on that. Of course, people, so the bookies predicting this one to be a close affair, so they're not quite sure who's getting the win. Melbourne Storm are the favourites, but it's not by a substantial margin. So I've got them as the head-to-head, as the first leg of the multi. I've then got Michael Jennings as an anytime try scorer. We know Michael Jennings is a fantastic try scorer in the NRL, one of the best of all time, 157 or something tries in his career. Hasn't scored in his games so far this season, and he is 34, 35, so, it is getting a bit away from him. Maybe he doesn't have it in him, but I think he does. We saw what Bronson Jerry and Josh Adokar did to Nick Meaney's edge last week against the Bulldogs. I think the edge of Angus Crichton and Michael Jennings can do a similar job in this one. Angus Crichton, also one of the better second rowers in our league. Crichton, he's also a good shout for an anytime try scorer, but I've gone with Michael Jennings in this one. And the last leg is over 39.5 total match points, and that means the odds of this one come to $12.25. So you're putting $1 on this, you're getting $12.25 back to the dollar. Once again, we'll read through them. There's Melbourne Storm head-to-head, Michael Jennings anytime try scorer, and over 39.5 total match points. Once again, we will reiterate that all of my betting is done through Sportsbet. I'm not affiliated with Sportsbet in any way. They're just the agency that I choose to bet with. If you're choosing to jump on any of these bets, please do it through Sportsbet, because a lot of other agencies may not have the markets available. And even if they do, the markets, the odds may be completely different. So if you're wanting to follow along with me and to the best of that ability, do it through Sportsbet. But please make sure that we are gambling responsibly. Do not bet where you can't afford. It's just a bit of fun here and there, guys. And if gambling is no longer fun for you, please do seek help. But that'll do us for the Roosters Storm matchup. As I said, trying to fly through these ones a bit quicker. So we move into our first Friday game, which is the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the New Zealand Warriors. Dragons currently sitting in 13th place, Warriors up in 7th. This one is taking place in Wollongong, though. So Dragons home game. Regardless for that, I have tipped the Warriors. But look, we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's go through the team news to start. For the Dragons, Jack Bird, he is out. So what has happened here is they've moved Zach Lomax from the wing into the centres, and Christian Tuipulotu, their signing from the Seagulls, comes in to start on the wing. I like that. I'm a big fan of Christian Tuipulotu. I think he can carve out a good little career here at the Dragons if he gets an extended shot. Could be maybe their replacement for Zach Lomax heading into next season, regardless if they don't want to go out and recruit a big name, big profile player. But that's the only change for the Dragons in this one. For the Warriors, not too much either, just that Jazz Tavanga is out of this game with a injury. They've named Adam Pompey on the interchange in jersey 17, but he's also been named to start in New South Wales Cup, so I'm not quite sure if he's actually going to play. I'm hearing some whispers that Zion is actually going to get his debut in this one. He's at jersey 18 at the moment, so he's probably going to be the 18th man, but I'm hearing a lot of whispers he will come in to start the side. We'll start in the side on the interchange, and maybe Adam Pompey or Tane Tuapiki will switch back to that 18th man role. But for now, Adam Pompey is named, and we'll just run with what we've got. For the tips, as we have said, I have tipped the Warriors. I think, what we're seeing so far is really good. I think a lot of people might be a bit too big on them, including myself. They have had some pretty mediocre performances, like last week against the Seagulls. There's a lot of good signs for them to get back into the game, etc. Fantastic. But they did also leak so many points. We forget that in round one they lost to the Sharks. Yes, without players. I don't want that as an excuse. Look, there have been some concerns for people thinking that this is a premiership side. I think they can warm into the season and definitely build into that. But right now, I still think that they are quite a substantial margin ahead of where the Dragons are at as a club. So I think they win this one, and I think they could potentially win it well. So that's my tip in terms of how I see them play it out. Well, I mean, the Warriors, they stick to their systems, and I think it's sort of been shown that no team can really stop them. They're, regardless of whether or not the other team can score points, the Warriors play a very simple brand of footy, but it works. It's managed to work against every team. They've scored points against every team. They're playing a really good attacking footy. If they can cut out the errors and the defensive lapses, then they can win this game. And as I said, I think they can win it well. In terms of my matchups for the game, well, it's quite an interesting one. I'm not sure quite where to go with this one. You can probably go to the halfbacks, Ben Hunt, Sean Johnson. Ben Hunt, he's been playing good footy, but not, what we know from Ben Hunt. I think there's still a few errors in his game, but as I said, they're normally from trying their really effort errors, which you can live with. Sean Johnson playing some incredible footy, continuing where he left off last season. So I'm really keen to see these two go at it. If either of their teams are going to win this game, they're going to have a big say in that matter. So Ben Hunt, Sean Johnson, the halfbacks are my matchup. We'll move straight into my multi for this game. I have tipped the New Zealand Warriors 13 plus as my first leg. As I said, I think they can win this one and win well, and that bodes well into that. I've got Dallin Watene-Zelezniak to score 2 or more tries as the second leg of the multi, and I've got the third leg being the game going over 43.5 total match points. The odds of that come to $11.25, so if you're slapping $1 on that, you're winning $11.25 back to the dollar. Once again, we'll read through them. Those New Zealand Warriors head-to-head. New Zealand Warriors 13 plus, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak 2 or more tries, and over 43.5 total match points. Once again, we will wrap that one up right there and head into the late Friday game and try and wrap this podcast up nice and quickly. So for the late game, we have the Eels taking on the Dolphins, 11th and 5th for those two sides, 8 p.m. in TIO Stadium, Darwin. So it's an Eels home game, but neutral grounds here. They've taken this game to Darwin, so who really knows how it's going to play out. I have tipped the Eels just based on the injuries that the poor Dolphins have sort of succumbed to. Eels, they came up with quite a rejuvenated performance last week against the Cowboys side, who have been red hot. So I think if they can continue what they built off last week, then they can go on to win this one. Dolphins, it's tough for them. They're still without Hammer, which we'll get into their team lists in a second. But yeah, just based on the injuries at the moment, I think they're going to struggle to get the Chockies in this one. But they're still away in Bennett coach side, so who knows? They could come away with it. Let's get into those ins and outs for the Eels. There is only the one in and out, and that is that Blaze Talangi has come onto the bench for Kelma Tuolangi, who has just been dropped back to the reserves. Not sure what that really means for their side. I think he's just there as cover. I doubt he really even plays many minutes. He might get a few at the end, or he's just there for cover if there are any backline injuries for the Eels, which is still a good little placement for him on the bench. But that's the only change for their squad. For the Dolphins, however, the big one is that Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, he is out for about 6 to 8 weeks, is what I'm hearing at the moment, with a injury. So Trey Fuller comes in at the fullback role to get his first game of the season and his second NRL appearance ever. Fantastic. He's a fantastic little footballer coming from the Queensland Cup. If you're familiar with how he's been playing down there, he's an absolute freak. So really good to see him get another shot in the NRL here. Hopefully he gets an extended shot in Hammer's absence and he can really kick on and kill it. So really good for Trey Fuller. Beyond that, for the Dolphins, not too much to note. Max Plath returns from his suspension at lock, which pushes Ray Stone back to the bench, and Sean O'Sullivan comes onto the bench as well for the suspended Anthony Milford. But those are the only changes for these two sides. As I said, we've gone through the tips for this one. I do believe the Eels get it done just based on the injuries that the Dolphins have without Flegler, without Herbie, and now without their superstar fullback. I don't really see where their points come from. But keep in mind, I do think Trey Fuller is a gun. I think he can conjure a lot in this game. I'm really excited to see him get his shot and just play some natural footy. Because that's how he plays. He's just a natural instincts footballer and he's a freak at it. So really excited to see him get in there. And I think they can still score a few points on the back of him, but just not enough to get them over the top of a Parramatta Eels side that, as I said, showed a lot of form last week, a lot of return to form, I should say. And I think they'll continue on with it and get the Chockies in this one. In terms of my matchups, well, I want to go with the fullbacks because I want to just keep talking about Trey Fuller and he's a weapon. But I will look to see if there's something different out there that I'm quite interested in. Look, not too much, to be honest. I'm a massive fan of Sean Russell. He's the right winger, so he'll be up against their left, which is Jack Bostock. Look, there's an option there. Both sort of young players still looking to really stamp their authority on the sides. I don't mind that as a matchup. But look, if we're looking exclusively at the best matchup that you want to look at, and I think it has to be the fullbacks. It could even be Dylan Brown and Isaiah Katoa in the halfback jersey. That's not a bad shout there, but I'm going to go with the fullbacks. Clint Gutherson, the captain for the Eels, playing some really good footy, really keeping them alive, lots of great effort areas, and Trey Fuller, the freak from Queensland Cup, really like what they're going to bring to their respective sides in this one. So we'll get into the last part of this preview, which of course is our bets. For the multi on this one, I have just got the Parramatta Eels head-to-head as the first leg. Not bad odds there. Not extensive odds, but it's something decent there. I've then got Dylan Brown as an anytime try scorer, and I've gone Sean Russell as an anytime try scorer as well. This is quite a small multi. The odds of this only coming to $7.50. So if you put in $1 on that, you're only winning $7.50 back if all three legs get up. But look, I just want to play it safe and go with something I actually do believe in. I don't want to try and go for a Hail Mary out there that I actually don't think there's any chance of happening. So I've gone something a little bit smaller on the odds market, but still decent odds there. That is Parramatta Eels head-to-head, Dylan Brown anytime try scorer, and Sean Russell as an anytime try scorer for $7.50. So that'll wrap us up for the Thursday and Friday previews for this one. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to this one. We'll be back, as I said, going to record the Saturday and Sunday previews straight after this and get them, ready to upload in the next couple of days as well. But thank you guys for tuning into this one, and I'll see you guys next time.